Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel BNB Daily Spoiler. Everything on the line. Taylor faces her final chance.
Taylor's final opportunity. Knowing that Taylor is not paying attention to Steffy Forrester Finnegan's ultimatum, Ridge Forrester has spotted her making out with Deacon Sharp. Ridge will encourage Taylor to avoid Deacon after cautioning him to keep out of Taylor's life. Taylor may be reminded by Ridge of the consequences if she disregards Steffy's advice to remove Deacon from the picture. Ridge might pose difficult questions and challenge Taylor's willingness to sacrifice Steffy and her grandchildren for Deacon. Before Steffy acts rashly and separates Taylor from the family, this might be her last opportunity to follow the rules. To concentrate on Daphne Rose's pre-wedding celebrations, Steffy and Taylor will temporarily set aside their recent conflict. Before Daphne gets married, Steffy organizes a bachelorette party for her, and Taylor will be there. Donna Logan will also be present at this party, which is reportedly going to have a disco theme and feature some guys who have been recruited to perform. Although Ridge is Carter's best man, he refuses to make the same effort for the bachelor party that is taking place across town. Ridge's best option will be to have a private discussion in the CEO's office over pizza and alcohol. Spoilers for the bold and the beautiful. Ridge is stunned by Steffy's move, and the Deacon is criticized. At the quarterly board meeting, Steffy's move takes the shape of a proposal. It's a drastic shift of power masquerading as a shrewd commercial move, not merely a personnel choice. Steffy proposes a new leadership structure that includes a re-energized executive committee that would place new people, including herself, in supervisory positions and a creative director who interacts with the public, a position she suggests Ridge give up. The rationale is clear: a modern governance architecture, distributed leadership, and heightened investor trust. However, Steffy uses surgical timing and wording. She presents the modification to the board as an essential safeguard against private scandals leaking into the company. The data appears solid, and the consulting numbers are convincing, but the emotional undercurrent is evident. Steffy is pleading with Ridge to concede at a time when he is personally vulnerable. Ridge is caught off guard and suffers from both family betrayal and corporate humiliation. The first crack shows as he storms out. Steffy does it, but why? She isn't mean. She is fiercely protective of her father, the business, and the family legacy. She wants to prevent opportunists from using Forrester's name as leverage because she is aware that the board is uneasy. However, she is also aware that Ridge will become protective if she ignores him. Under the garb of sensible administration, the move is political mastery. Ridge astonished, Steffy unwavering. With nuclear speed, word travels through family channels. Ridge is shocked because he expected to be consulted, not because he didn't anticipate the change. In an unoccupied design studio, he confronts Steffy. The scene, a father-daughter talk that also serves as a reckoning, is silent, personal, and heartbreaking. "What kept you from telling me?" Ridge asks in a hushed voice. With direct sympathy, she responds, "I was defending you against an attack." She interprets inclusiveness as allowing public weakness, whereas he interprets protection as exclusion. Taylor attempts to mediate while observing from a distance. Although she respects Steffy's intuition, she feels offended by the insult to Ridge's self-respect. The family divides almost immediately. Younger designers and risk-averse board members support Steffy's position at the table, while Ridge's supporters, including Brooke, feel that legacy is being attacked. Public opinion is a factor. The story is portrayed in the gossip pages as a family power struggle, and the possibility that the company is restructuring its leadership causes Forrester's stock to tremble. Meetings are requested by sponsors. Ridge is raw. Steffy is determined. Ridge finds himself in a holding pattern that resembles exile after the board votes provisionally to investigate the structure. A Deacon in the line of fire. Deacon's personal life becomes fodder for opportunists as family politics spin out of control. He has always been a volatile person with a troubled past and a propensity to behave more out of emotion than reason. His mistakes are exacerbated in the new environment. An intriguing little controversy that the tabloids adore, a whisper turns into a rumor. Deacon was spotted at a late-night meeting with a person of interest connected to recent donation discrepancies. As a result of the trustee changes at Forrester, the rumor gains momentum. The source is exact: a blurry street camera photo and an anonymous tip to a local reporter. Although the picture isn't definitive, ambiguity is just as harmful as proof in the court of public opinion and in a boardroom that today worries about reputational risk. Spencer Publications' Bill has a knack for making headlines. Quinn recognizes leverage. The board starts to inquire about the company's relationships as well as governance. Deacon is being criticized for his efforts to live a more subdued life and make amends. Despite the horrific optics, he maintains that the meeting was benign and a favor for an old friend. After Steffy's power maneuver, many in positions of authority are now wary and are likely to sever connections. Whether right or wrong, Deacon's involvement in Taylor's life is abruptly presented as a liability, a secret ledger, sabotage, and strategy. Around the same week as the alleged meeting, someone releases a ledger entry that seems to indicate an unauthorized transfer to an anonymous account, adding to the board's growing uneasiness. The press reports that Forrester funds tied to questionable payments are the cause, while the finance staff says it's an accounting blunder. The storm grows louder. Steffy intensifies her call for governance reforms, claiming that a more powerful executive committee would shield the business from mistakes like these. According to Ridge, the ledger leak is a personal assault. Who would use their family name as a weapon? Suspicion spreads like electricity. Competitors, ex-partners, and ambitious board members are blamed. Deacon is used as a scapegoat in a number of ways. He is an easy target because of his relationship to Taylor and his alleged past involvement with dubious figures. Some important clients may ask for distance, even if he is innocent, because they believe he may be involved. Taylor is under a lot of pressure to choose between quietly leaving the company and her marriage or openly defending Deacon, which could expose her to greater scrutiny. Emotional repercussions, Ridge, Taylor, and the decision. This arc revolves around Taylor's inner life. She is a corporate boss, a mother, and she has a complex relationship with Deacon. She also loves Ridge. Taylor is forced to make choices that challenge every aspect of her identity as a result of Steffy's transfer. Ridge and Taylor discuss the ledger, the rumors, and Steffy's intentions in a lengthy, unvarnished session late at night. Taylor is truthful. She spoke with Deacon to save a child, an employee, or a reluctant witness, but she maintains that she did not approve of any illegal transfers. Hurt, Ridge queries why she kept it from him. Taylor responds that in order to shield their family from the spotlight, she wanted to handle things discreetly. In reaction, Ridge expresses a mixture of grief and rage. We promise transparency, Tay. Not quiet. The wound is about the breach of partnership, not just the ledger. Taylor understands that publicly standing up for Deacon would spell the end of a particular life with Ridge. The moral uncertainty is what matters. She has not choose Deacon above Ridge, but her commitment to the truth and to those in need is making her face the consequences. Steffy observes this relationship with a combination of satisfaction and worry because she wanted to keep the business safe, but seeing Ridge and Taylor tense does not equate to success. Public pressure and the Deacon's defense. After being forced into a corner, the Deacon speaks out. He maintains his innocence and explains the harmless reason for his late-night meeting: to check in on a person he has previously assisted. Although it is admirable, his attempt at transparency is not always calculated because talk show presenters and tabloids frequently discuss his prior transgressions. Bill Spencer spins a story to boost Spencer Publications' ratings because he sees low-hanging fruit. Everything is amplified by social media. In an emergency session, the Forrester board convenes. A clear separation from anyone deemed a reputational danger is advocated by certain members. Others, desperate for shareholder reassurance, call for quick distance, while Steffy advocates for moderation and due diligence. The company that creates beauty is now being evaluated based on the ugly nature of rumors, and the tension is evident in the divided vote. Sheila stokes the fires after spotting an opening. Anyone who enjoys drama will find a prize here, she whispers to intermediaries, adding that Deacon always had a pattern and that Taylor's defense of him is odd. Her interference is like a tiny nudge that throws a delicate equilibrium off balance. A private argument becomes public. When Ridge is recognized at a charity event and the news dealer chooses to cause trouble, the pressure cooker reaches a boiling point. Deacon arrives to show unity with Taylor, not to make a scene. He is recognized, a brief conversation is captured on camera, and a murmur turns into a headline. Deacon seen at Forster event. Is he back? The flashbulbs pop. Already raw, Ridge loses his temper. A young associate's phone records a furious argument that breaks out in a hallway. Ridge accuses Deacon of undermining the family, to which Deacon responds that he has been truthful and that sometimes the only way to save lives is to act stealthily. After the video becomes viral, the board consults with legal experts over containment. Ridge is angry not only at Deacon, but also at the sense of being outwitted on his own soil. A man who has been led to believe that the home front is impregnable. Taylor responds to the video with a composed, assertive statement, urging people to wait for the facts and pleading for privacy. Although it is a commendable position, the market places a much higher value on certainty than on subtlety. Sponsors make a call. Grants are on hold. The Forrester brand withstands criticism about its reputation. The tipping point, proof or captivity, an internal email thread or a scanned copy of the ledger's supporting paperwork are two examples of additional evidence that emerges as the pressure mounts and appears to clear Deacon, or at the very least demonstrate that the line item was incorrectly classified. After conducting a thorough investigation, the CFO at Forrester generates a revised report indicating that the payment line was a bookkeeping error connected to an unrelated consulting contract. The subtlety is important. There was no covert transfer. However, tabloid comebacks are rarely comprehensive. The narrative of risk has already influenced customer trust and shareholder opinion, even though the ledger entry has been clarified. Once sounding like wise armor, Steffy's leadership reorganization now reads, depending on who you ask, like a preemptive strike or a cunning defense. The fact that the ledger was not a smoking gun against Taylor vindicates Ridge, but he is nevertheless hurt by the board's initial mistrust that permitted such a move. Despite being officially cleared, the Deacon's reputation has not quite recovered. The uncertainty persists. In a society where drama is consumed, the arc uses the aftermath to explore if a reputational wound ever completely heals. Reconciliation, punishment, and a new equilibrium. The family starts making minor repairs. In a private conversation with Ridge, Steffy acknowledges that she misjudged the emotional toll of moving without consulting anyone. Ridge, softened but proud, admits that Steffy's intuition saved the company from a bigger problem. A deal that maintains face while resolving governance issues is reached. Ridge will continue to serve as an advisory, visible chair while the firm adopts a reform plan. In an uncommon moment of affection, Taylor and Deacon cross paths one final time. Chastened and bruised, Deacon vows to back off, realizing that his presence, no matter how well-meaning, has become a problem. Taylor requests room to rebuild with Ridge, but she also praises him for his candor and concern. The scene is mature and understands patterns. Love can be powerful and selfless, but it can also be unstable if it rejects boundaries. The moment is not overblown. Sheila frowns and starts to plot again after being temporarily foiled. Quinn observes the business from a distance, adjusting her next course of action. Investors remain calm. The board takes a deep breath, and Forrester starts to rebuild the brand. Cliffhanger, a resurfaced file. A new wrinkle that foretells future heat surfaces just as everyone starts to think the worst is over. In the most unpleasant way possible, an unredacted copy of a vendor contract that features a strangely familiar signature and a routed payment path reappears. It ends up in Ridge's possession during a private audit. Although Taylor's signature is not on the paper, the routing indicates that the payment was relabeled months ago by someone within the organization. Face exhausted, Ridge raises his head from the file and whispers, "Who else knows how to move the books?" A close-up of an oddly composed accounting department administrator is shown by the camera. The final image, which shows the administrator's desk drawer locked, conveys the idea that the fight for Forrester's soul is far from ended. Deacon shudders at the prospect of fresh suspicion. Taylor quietly gets ready for the next test. Steffy watches Ridge, and the board braces. The unsaid promise that power struggles will not be settled amicably, and that someone within Forrester might have more clout than anyone had thought, is conveyed when the screen fades. What's up next? Arc payoffs and themes. This plot combines domestic grief with a corporate thriller. Anticipate. Steffy is a strategic combatant. Her action recasts her as the family's defender and a strategic thinker in the boardroom who is prepared to make difficult decisions in order to maintain stability over the long run. The midlife test of Ridge. Ridge's role as the head of the family is both questioned and strengthened, and he must balance pride and cooperation. Deacon's ethical reflections. Whether cleared or not, Deacon will need to demonstrate self-control and make decisions about boundaries. The storyline places him on a course that could lead to either renewed turmoil or redemption. Taylor's careful juggling act. Taylor will have to balance her public role, which is a testing ground for her character, her duty to the weak, and her allegiance to her family. Quinn and Sheila are potential opportunists. Both will take advantage of rifts to gain power. Anticipate plotting and covert alliances. A mystery that burns slowly. The program will extend the inquiry across several weeks to tease who within Forrester might be tampering with the ledger for leverage, and the uncovered documents suggest further sabotage.